What's up, you guys? This is Coco Jones, and you know I got soul.
I just want to get started touching on your history a little bit. Can you just kind of talk about how you originally got into singing?
Yes, well, I started off in Nashville just performing wherever I could. I did talent shows, performing everywhere, and I ended up meeting a producer and working on a really homemade, low production EP/album, but it got me where I needed to go. I ended up meeting with Disney Corporate at around 9 and handing them my CD and just saying, I'm down for whatever. I can act, I can sing, just trying to give them my whole spiel. And they needed a contestant for this contest called Next Big Thing, which is like an American Idol for Disney. And they had my CD on file, so they listened to it and they were like, okay, she'd be good. And I did that. After that, I just started working with them. I've done TV shows with them, and I did Let It Shine with them. So it's kind of my spiel in like 5 seconds.
Cool. And, you gave Disney this CD. What do you think they saw in you just from that CD? Do you think it was the voice or, just talk about that?
I think definitely my voice stood out. I mean, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but that was how I got my attention. I would just sing on command, and it would just draw people to me. That was my niche. That was how I got, people to pay attention to me, with my voice. At a young age, it was, just attention holding. And I think that was one thing that drew them to me. But also, I was very driven. I met them actually at a cattle call, and I was there for hours. It was actually, I was playing sports at the time. When I was young, I was really sporty. And so my mom was like, you want to go to this cattle call or do you want to go home? And it was after a flag football game. And I was like, I want to go. I want to go to this thing. I want to go to this Disney audition. They just had this general audition. All these kids were flowing in. So I took off my jersey and put on this decent shirt. And I just went out there and, made all the connections I could and gave my all on the little auditions and everything. So I think they saw that hunger in me too. Made me kind of unforgettable.
Awesome. And of course, during your time in Disney, you put out an EP, Made Of, during that time. Just talk about that project a little bit and where you were creatively with that project.
Made Of was a really good stepping stone for me. I'm really grateful for the experience because I learned a lot about what I want to say and how I want everything to sound through that EP. So, it was kind of just where I was at the moment. I wasn't really focused on any specific message. I just knew that I liked to dance, I liked to have full choreography shows, and I wanted fun music. So that's where I was at that time, but it helped me grow, seeing it and learning from it. It was really good for me as learning on a learning basis.
Right, and in terms of creative control, you were at such a young age. What kind of creative control did you have for that project?
I had a lot of control when it came to writing the songs. I was always co-writing. I wrote with a lot of people that were very seasoned in that area, so they taught me a lot, and I was able to learn a lot. And I could always have my hands on the song that way. And also, when I was recording it, it was completely up to me the way I made the song. My mom always said, even if it's not a song that is 100% you make it 100% you when you go into the studio. So I was always as creative as I could be with everything that they gave me. But I was hands-on a lot. I feel like I had a good say in what I could write.
Awesome. And, eventually you and Disney parted ways. Now you're doing your own independent thing. What kind of made you go in that direction to, leave Disney and, just do it all on your own?
Well, Disney is a great machine. Hollywood Records is a great machine. And I just feel like, we weren't as compatible together. I feel like they're both great, but some things just don't work together. And it was fine. We're completely, an agreement. It wasn't out of anything rude or negative. But I just wanted to go somewhere else with my voice. I feel like I wasn't being challenged enough, and I had more to say. I was growing up, and I was figuring out that I don't want to do this type of song, and I don't really like when I say this, and I don't know. It kind of was like that's what all they wanted me to do. So we just agreed to part ways. But now, being independent, it's given me time to really just be whoever I want to be, sing whatever I want to sing, write, make whatever I wanted to say, and it's been good. It's been a good learning process for me. Now debuting Let 'Em Know, I feel like I'm kind of going more on the path that I feel is right for me.
Right. And in terms of the transition, like you've mentioned, Disney is such a huge machine, a lot of money behind that. So, what kind of adjustments have you had to make now that, you've gone independent?
I don't feel like a lot has changed because, first of all, I'm a very hard worker, and my team, we work really, really hard. We don't ever wait on anybody to give us the opportunities, which is why everything works so well with Disney and everything. We weren't just sitting around. We worked, and whatever they gave us, we worked with that, and we had our own things that we were doing on the side as well. So I don't feel like a lot has changed. I feel like it's just given me really more freedom. Everything that we did, we had to kind of, check with them, is this all right, is this all right? But now on our own, it's just whatever we want to do, and we make the opportunities. We've made the opportunities ourselves even before Disney. So I don't feel like anything's changed. It's just more opportunities, to make something out of it.
Right, and of course you got the new single out right now, Let 'Em Know. Just kind of talk about the song a little bit and what you were looking to do with that song.
Let 'Em Know, I really wanted to just give my fans something. They were always commenting on my Instagram, Coco, when is your song coming out? When is your album and everything? And I was like, okay, all right, I just want to put something out. I mean, I know I've been doing some songs. I've done covers, and I did Peppermint, but I wanted to do something really legit and for the summer, too, because I wanted everybody to have some kind of anthem that they could rock to all summer. Something to hold them over because they've been anticipating forever. So I went in with Thaddeus, and he produced the song, and we worked on it and everything. It was cool, and then he kind of got my vibe, and I wanted to make changes, but he already knew it. It was like he was in my mind. And so he brought back the second edit, and I was like, all right, we got to put this out. I love this. Like, it just worked out perfectly.
Yeah. And, leading up to that, along with that, of course, you're going to be working on, I guess, a new album, a new EP. What's the plan for you?
I'm definitely always working on my album, but I want to make sure that everything's the best quality it could be, because I feel like I've had the experience where things have been rushed and it just doesn't work out at the end all. And also the debut album is like one of the most important albums, so I'm really not putting out anything that's less than 100%. But I'm constantly being creative, constantly working with new people, and I have a lot of songs under my belt right now. It's just about the best timing and the right songs to go with the theme of an album, but it's definitely coming. It's got to be perfect.
Yep. And, transitioning from Disney to independent, and also your last project, Made Of, was a couple years back. So what type of growth are we going to see, on your upcoming music, and, just maybe, is there anything going to change as far as the sound?
Definitely, I feel like the sound will be changing a lot. Even in Let 'Em Know, it's kind of a little taste of where I'm going with my sound. I still want to do pop, and I want to make it fun, but I also want to bring in a taste of urban, because I don't want to lose that side of me. And I really enjoy, R&B, rap music, so I want to put a little bit of that in there to have like a balance of it, which is kind of where I feel Let 'Em Know is heading. So definitely a change in sound. I want to bring realistic topics into my album. I don't want it to be just a song about nothing, I want it to have some meaning in the lyrics and talk about things that I feel like my audience goes through and I've been through. So yeah, different sound, older vibes, and more realistic topics to come.
Yep. And, can you kind of just talk about some of your influences growing up?
Well, growing up, my influences were everyone that my mom would play for me. She would tell me that if I could sing songs by Whitney Houston, Aretha Franklin, Christina Aguilera, Jennifer Hudson, then I could sing anything. So I grew up challenging myself, listening to those artists, and what she would do is she would let me hear the song once or twice, and then she would give me the instrumental and tell me to make it my own. So I think that was just brilliant of her to do, because I got that experience of, trying to sound powerful and, taking my influences from other people, but it was never me copying somebody at the end of the day. I was always making it my own and putting my own spin on it. But now, as I get older, I still like those artists. Those will always be artists in my heart, but I love people like Ariana Grande. I like Selena Gomez's new stuff. I like Tinashe, this new artist on the scene. She's so cool. Like, there's just different people that I like. I take a little thing from everybody,
Okay, cool. And lastly, of course, a lot of people know you from your time in Disney. You've been able to establish your name through that. So, moving forward, now that you're independent, are you still looking to kind of build on what Disney helped you with, or are you looking to start over and create your own brand?
I definitely feel like Disney was a huge skyrocket in my career, and I will never say anything negative about it because, they did things for me, brought me a fan base that would have taken me so much longer to achieve if I didn't have those opportunities. So I'm never going to completely give that up. I feel like the people that watched me and Let It Shine or So Random are just going to grow with me, which I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see how they take my new album and everything. And I don't want to completely change myself because I don't feel like I've changed as much as people think that you have to if you stop. As your career progresses. So I don't feel like I'm going to completely switch up on anybody, but we'll all just grow together.
Right. And of course, Disney is one of those machines where they can create a star, almost overnight. So how have you been able to maintain your fan base? Because, these are people who followed you throughout your career. Now that you're going independent, how have you been able to maintain that connection with the fans? And, have the fans been craving new music from you?
Definitely. I feel like there's always people commenting, Coco, when's your next song, when's your next movie, when's your next, et cetera, which can be exhausting at times, but I feel like they're more like family to me. I feel like the people that support me are always going to have an importance in my life, and I just let them know that. Like, anytime somebody's asking me about, am I coming up with new content, I'll reply, yes, but I'm taking time, or if there's something specific that you want to hear, I want to know what people want from me, and I feel like they get that it's more of like a family type deal because they are people that support me. Some people in my family don't even support me, so
right.
My far family, not my real deal family, they look.
Right. And, along with the singing, of course, you've also done some acting. Is that still something you want to pursue, or are you just sticking with the singing full time?
Singing has been taking up a lot of my time, but I'm always down to make time for acting. I love acting. It's so scary but fun. You know how, like, when you go on a roller coaster, you're like, why did I do this? But, like, after you're like, okay, let me do it again. That's how it is for me with acting because it's so uncomfortable, but I like it. It's never boring to me. So definitely I would want to get into acting, but another thing that's kind of been a roadblock for me has been my schoolwork. My mom is very adamant on my grades coming first and me just not pushing everything aside from my career because at the end of the day, you have to have foundations, you have to have your grades and everything important to you. So I've been working on my schoolwork and graduating this year so I can finally get that out of my face, get those books out of my face, and get back into it with much more free time to do it.